What's up, everybody? So I've been asked relentlessly, what are you doing for Crucible? And I meant to get this out sooner, but it's still in time. So you change your defense to what I'm going to show because I'm the highest ranked Cosmic Crucible content creator that there ever was. 3 seasons in a row. So what do you say about that? Except, like, do you want to win? Well, then listen to this. No, I'm just kidding. Poopy talking aside, I think there's a lot of content creators that have a lot of great videos with different takes on these rooms and everything. I think mine is probably skewed towards having a very developed roster. But I'm going to, in this video, unfortunately there's no animation, there's no time to do that right now. I'm going to go room by room, show my defense, why I'm putting it there. Stage 4 I'm still a little undecided on. I'm going to talk about like what's going to beat that room. So I'm both giving what I think is the best defense, why it's the best defense, and then what you're going to use to beat it. I think this season is going to be heavily predicated on the power of your offensive teams. And I guess the power of your defensive team to sap some efficiency, but I think there's some no-brainer decisions in a lot of rooms, particularly room 2, which everyone's talking about. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Let me know in the comment sections below how you're feeling about it. Oh, and I will have my roster updated to have both the offensive and defensive teams. I'll have that link in the comment section below. You can copy that if you so choose. But I don't want to hear anybody. Everyone has the dorky defense, and it's annoying. I don't want to hear that. Okay, you'll say it, but I don't want to hear it. Have a good day. Here we are at our Crucible defense line, and I almost don't want to show you this because I do have a lot of people that I know watch the channel, most importantly Ceci and Agent Zero, and I'm buddies with both of them. I would actually say borderline friends with Ceci, that jerk. So them knowing what my defense strategy is doesn't really play well to me, but you guys have been asking, so here we go. And this is kind of what I've concocted. We'll go room by room, and I'll explain what's going on, what's the downfall, and what I think is going to happen in these rooms. So we got Gamma in 1. Look, it's a throwaway room. There's not much going on in this room. I did switch my Red Hulk to a Striker in the event that they were to screw up, and Red Hulk ults when he's past 50%, right? So in the event that people screw up on this room, it's normally because they ended up pushing the Red Hulk to 5 charges and he didn't have ability block or a stun, and then he ults, and if he's a Striker, he's likely to be below 50% life and just crush them. That's a strategy there. It also pulls one of the big 4 teams, right? There's a couple of hybrids you could throw in there instead, but with only having 6 rooms, like people don't need to do that. All right, so Gamma, Masters of Evil will crush it. New Warriors will crush it. Tangled Web will crush it, and there was a 4th one which I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting the 4th one. Unlimited. It's easy to forget Unlimited, isn't it? Unlimited with a Preton can come in here and crush it. I think that's the sketchiest one, so I don't think people will do that. But that's why it's there. It's going to pull that sort of team. I did switch him to a Striker. There's not much more to it than that. People can try and beat it with like a Doom Omega Red comp or a Dormammu and Dying comp. That kind of stuff can happen too, but that is the sketchier of the options. And it's more like the Red Hulk ults. I think it's just going to pull one of the big 4 teams. Bifrost. Okay, raid on Crucible. It's important to note that we've been told that it's not just the raid bonuses that count. They were specifically asked if the new Warriors are going to get speed both from the Crucible of Deathpool's kit and of the raid from Deathpool's kit. And the answer was yes. So instead of getting, I believe it's 30%, they should get 60%, which is the only way they'll win this matchup. Nobody else is going to win this matchup cleanly. There is no other raid option. I don't care if your Bifrost is 1 million and your Rebirth team is 1.9 million. Don't put Rebirth in here. It's not worth it. There's so many mechanical different counters to Rebirth at that point. Not that Rebirth's not great. Rebirth with the extra speed bar on block is good, but you have to bring US Agent in for that. He's one of the weaker members, so he does have a stun and slows and raise. My point is, mechanically, Bifrost is the biggest nightmare team in here, with Sylvie getting 45% speed bar and rewinding by, I believe, 75%, removing all your buffs, flipping everything, can't be dodged. It becomes an absolute nightmare. So, this, I believe, is going to become what the Wakanda room was last season. I believe this room is now always your New Warriors versus Bifrost matchup. If and only if New Warriors do indeed get both bonuses. So how that'll work out is Gwenpool is going to use her special. She's going to flip everything, including the immunity that Teen Loki gives on his passive, which is why this team is so rough and Deathseed can't beat it. She's going to flip all that. Firestar is going to come in, do a bunch of rewinds. Then it's Deathpool's turn. Deathpool is a cosmic hero. It's like, oh no, Loki's going to give everybody Safeguard. You're wrong, because Gwenpool already gave them Disrupt. And because the New Warrior team is going to go before any of the Bifrost team does, it's just going to be absolute crushed. chaotic. There'll be no safeguard unless you get some kind of crazy resistance, which would be crazy because Gwenpool is unblockable and gets 1,000% focus. It's going to be an absolute walk in the park. Yeah, it's not going to be difficult, but I believe this is going to be a forced matchup. The other option I think you could use on the Bifrost in Stage 2 is a 4-piece Death Seed, subbing out Nemesis for somebody like Dormammu, Quicksilver, maybe like someone like Apocalypse. It would have to be a very, very big member. And what you would have to do is you have to use the Magneto Special. You don't use the Ultimate. The Ultimate is completely negated by that Team Loki giving out the immunity. So what'll happen is you're going to special the Sylvie that strips all her buffs off first and then gives her ability block. It's unblockable, so the deflects on spawn are not going to affect it. So you could stop the Sylvie from ever doing her ultimate. The problem at that point is you still have the rest of the Bifrost members with their abilities. That's why we needed Psylocke. Psylocke giving the dodge on spawn to Death Seed members, but not that 5th person that you subbed out, right? And then you're going to take all the opening attacks from the rest of the Bifrost, depending on who you brought in first. Maybe you can control that. Maybe you brought in like a Quicksilver. You could rewind the Val so her second turn comes later. Obviously, we got to kill Val on the raid team. Like, she needs to go quickly. But Beta Ray Bill has a reflexive taunt. It's going to become a gong show. I could see a world where Death Seed with a very strong 5th member can get in there and get it done. Like Dormammu flipping all their buffs and then having the stun, the ultimate. I could see it happening. But I think New Warriors were supposed to be used here. And I think Bifrost was supposed to be used here. Which makes sense, right? It's the newest teams. It is the season for the New Warriors. But if they don't get their Crucible and their raid bonuses at the same time, Bifrost is going to quickly become an absolute nightmare room. Because, like, you can't double tap it, right? Because the match is either going to end with Valkyrie rezzing, Val rezzing everybody back to life, or you're going to walk in and there's going to be 5 members there again, and Sylvie gets all the energy back from Loki, and we're looking at Heroes for Hire Crucible Edition. What Heroes for Hire used to be Crucible Edition. So this is by far the room to put it in. There's no other team comes close on like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of power difference. I would still go with Bifrost first. Stage 3. This is your Infinity Watch room. There's no other way around it. Look, people are saying Nowhere if you have a comparable Nowhere team. I have a comparable Nowhere team to my Infinity Watch. I'm not thinking about them. That's not an idea, because the Infinity Watch team has that benefit on spawn. This is the Infinity Watch problem. Safeguard, immunity, defense up. Enough said. This is going to pull a Dormammu. It's going to pull an Apocalypse. If they pull Apocalypse, congratulations. That is a huge win to you. And just protected your Stage 5, whatever it may be. Protected your Stage 1, whatever it may be. Maybe even protected your Stage 4. If it pulls Apocalypse, congratulations. That's a win. They could have, at that point, Apocalypsed your Nowhere team regardless, right? And then, again, there's no difference here. The big difference with using Infinity Watch over Nowhere is its protection from the Eternal team. An Eternal's speed matchup against your Nowhere team is a very efficient kill. So Icarus going before the Nova with the help of Cable or Fury, whatever the case may be, throw in Kestrel at that point, and all of a sudden, you're flipping that defense up on spawn, you're crushing them, Kestrel's paying away like crazy, people are dying, then it's just Nova against 5 of your members, and then you kill him on the second round of turns. You take no more than I believe my maximum turns taken on like a 500k punch up into like a 2 million Nowhere last season. I think I took 8 turns. So it's like, Nowhere does not stand up the same way Infinity Watch does. Are you going to get wins with this team? Probably not, unless someone tries to do something silly like Death Seed one-shot it or straight Undying Omega Red one-shot it, which has happened to me, but I believe that was super RNG-like, or APK hacks. I prefer to think it was the latter. It's just a much better team to sap efficiency. Not to get wins, but to sap efficiency. Stage 4, I'm not sure what I'm doing with this stage. I really don't. At first, I had Black Widow in place of US Agent there. Like, they do get offense up on block, I believe, from Captain America, Winter Soldier's putting it out there. But the team is so slow, susceptible to lots of different matches. Death Seed was used at some degree of success last season to beat them in Stage 6 when they had revives. So you got to understand Death Seed's going to come in here and absolutely one-shot. And that's the problem I've been having with this room, is I want to make it Death Seed proof so that Death Seed has no good options across the board. Like, you don't want a Death Seed 1, you don't want a Death Seed 3, 2 for sure not, 5 no, and 6 absolutely not. So I'd like to find a way to make my Wrecking Ball room Death Seed proof. I'm not sure what that'll be. There's a couple options, right? Like, I could throw a Nova in here to try and spice it up a bit, but Archangel still goes first, and if he eats anybody out, then it becomes a problem. The Wakanda team, the War Dog team, they also get offense up that kind of leans into the Wrecking Ball. That could do it as well. And then a lot of people talking about Young Avengers here. unless your Young Avengers is built up to godlike status, congratulations, you just fed them to Death Seed. All right, everybody has a big Archangel from the Apocalypse Saga. Archangel is going to come in, he's going to one-shot your Squirrel Girl with his ultimate, make sure your Magneto's a skirmisher so you for sure get a vulnerable, and then the match is over. They brought Quicksilver in. Okay, congratulations, they were able to do 2 hits on you, and then you walked over them. Or you know what? Switch it up. Take out your Psylocke and put Nova in there. Nova's 1 speed faster than Quicksilver. That's all you need. You're going to go ahead with Magneto, put that vulnerable on Squirrel Girl. Archangel's going to one-shot that Squirrel Girl. Nova stun the Archangel because you did not put your Nowhere team erroneously in 3. You stun the Quicksilver. He lost both of his opening turns. He killed the rest of the Young Avengers. All of a sudden, you're 1v5 against the enemy Quicksilver, and you're going to walk over him. Young Avengers is not a good team here. It doesn't matter that they spawn with offense up. They simply don't have the speed or the stats. If you have a 1.9 million Young Avengers, why are you watching my video, okay? You're cracking it out. Put the best teams you have in here and just laugh at people. Put Super Skrull in here and just laugh at people and say, ha ha, I'm the Grandmaster and you're wrecked, okay? Everybody else, if you have a 1 million Young Avengers and a giant Quicksilver like I have and you put them in this room, you just gave me a super efficient win. It's a terrible idea. And it's going to be a terrible idea for most people because most people are going to have Nova really big from the upcoming Legendary event, and they have Archangel and the Death Seed team really big, not just because they were needed for Apocalypse, because they're needed for raids, and they're great everywhere, and Young Avengers have fallen off. That's coming from the guy who always fails against Young Avengers. Obviously, I had to learn and tweak out the right rules in order to always crush them. If you want to believe that meme, please, when you face me, put Young Avengers on defense in Stage 4. Please, Ceci, please, Agent Zero, put him up. I'd love to have that free win. Stage 5. This one's tough. This is where you kind of decide if you want to go super full offensive heavy or if you want to kind of have a mixed bag. So there's 2 options, right? You have the Hero Mutant track or you have the Spider-Verse track. This is an interesting one to talk about because you could just put nothing there. I said don't put Nowhere because you need Nova, or you don't need Nova, but Nova's nice to have. You could put Nowhere here. You could put Wakanda War Dogs here and keep your Unlimited and keep your Tangled Web because they're much better offensive options. And really kind of just make sure you have a check for every box the opponent throws at you, right? Like if my opponent throws Dormammu or Apocalypse with a bunch of their teams, it'd be really nice if I were to have Unlimited and Tangled Web to help deal with the different options. Like, say on the Rebirth team, they threw Dormammu in there. I think I'd be like, damn, like I really wish I had Unlimited because Unlimited would just walk over that, right? And that would be nice, and that'd be a cool idea. But I think I'm leaning more towards the balance, at least at the beginning of the season. And I don't think Tangled Web is worth putting on defense whatsoever. And the reason Unlimited is better than Tangled Web on defense is simply because of Death Seed. Again, if you were to throw your Tangled Web on defense, and even if you threw them with Eternals or Black Cat or whoever it may be, Magneto's going first. Right? Magneto can go ahead, he get the blinds out there, 29 kills himself, you got to rip through those 5 charges, which is certainly annoying, but it's not impossible. And then you go from there. So I do think Death Seed has a good shot at beating most people's Tangled Web, whereas Death Seed will fail against the Unlimited here because of that Dazzler flip. There's certainly ways you can play Death Seed, like Death Seed Apocalypse, I'm sure can get in here and get it done. But I wouldn't advise it. Like, why would you do that when you could just do Eternals with Apocalypse, or you could do Secret Avengers with Apocalypse on 5? Like, you have a lot better options at that point when you're subbing in a character of that magnitude. And so I'm choosing Unlimited. Now, the question that becomes, like, what about all the other Hero Mutants, right, that we could throw in there? So it is Hero Mutants, Astonishing, Unlimited, Uncanny, but remember that also includes people from X-Force. That includes, like, your X-23, your Cable, your Dad Bros. What other Hero Mutants do we have? Wolverine, I guess he's considered Uncanny. Firestar, but you would never put Firestar in here. So you have lots of options, but here's the thing. There's really only 2 trains of thought that I think make sense, and that's Phoenix. Put just Phoenix in, or put just Jubilee in. The Phoenix advantage would be it activates a reflexive taunt on Rogue quickly. We saw that in this last season. However, Rogue's not spawning with immunity anymore. That's not a thing. And so, because that's not a thing, even if she gets taunt, I can still control the Rogue before she takes a turn. I can still stop her before she renews her safeguard, gets her own immunity, offense up, taunt, all that shenanigans. I can control her before that happens, regardless if she's taunting or not. The extra damage, that Phoenix brings and the extra health. I think that's cool, but I think this room is posed just to get annihilated off the map by an Apocalypse combo. I don't think Walking Hate will be used here anymore. Tangled Web would still walk over this because of all the charges. You would still just stun the Rogue because Rogue doesn't have immunity on spawn anymore, and you'd laugh at it. You'd laugh at the rest, right? Masters of Evil won't give a shapoopy what you put on here with the damage that they do. New Warriors, if you were to use him here as well, they wouldn't care. We haven't talked about the offensive teams we have. I'm going to upload my roster so you guys can see what I'm working with. But yeah, I think this is just, again, Stage 5 is going to be similar to my Stage 1, where it's going to pull one of the big, I guess it would be, I guess you could still say 4 here. It's either going to pull the Unlimited Mirror matchup, it's going to pull Tangled Web, it's going to pull Master of Evil, or it's going to pull New Warriors. And I think that's all you can hope for. And I think the matchup and I think the Crucible as a whole comes down actually to this Stage 6. Jubilee. Yeah, sure. We can talk about Jubilee, Beast, Bishop real quick. Don't use characters that have stats from 2 years ago. End of story. Bad. Okay? Bad. End of story. Because if you use Jubilee, Bishop, Beast with Rogue and Gambit, sure, they get a little bit extra life, but Tangled Web is going to come in, cover them in debuffs. They're not going to land anything. They're going to quickly die because they have really bad stats. If I were to go in here with Eternal's Apocalypse, congratulations, you just let me get an easy double tap and annihilate your team in one shot because they don't get revives anymore. So it's going to be the most efficient matchup in the history of Crucible, okay? It's a bad idea. And maybe you could throw in Phoenix with Beast and Jubilee. That's kind of an interesting one, right? Let's look at who you're taking out to do that. You're taking out Sunfire, who has better stats, gives offense up anyway, same way Beast Special does. You're taking out Dazzler, who does the cleanse, which is what you're hoping from, I guess at that point you're hoping from Phoenix at that point, because Beast, if he gets pushed, he's going to use his ultimate, that's not a cleanse. And Jubilee, you're trying to avoid people using Undying on this team. Don't use Undying on this team. Just don't. There's many other options for Unlimited. Again, I think Unlimited just pulls a team. It pulls a little bit of efficiency, sort of, or it begs for the Apocalypse, right? And then that'll protect your room 3, possibly your room 1, that kind of thing. We're just kind of Xing off our opponent's options here. The stages that I think the Crucible comes down to is how efficiently do they beat 1, 3, 4, and 6? And where do they have to use their Masters of Evil? Because I think Stage 2 is just New Warriors with Bifrost on there. So it's like, where do you force them to use Masters of Evil now? I do think Masters of Evil actually crushes Stage 6 now that we can use a special from Kang to start it off. But I guess that remains to be seen. Maybe Quicksilver and the Darkhold will come and take over, which is what I have here. This is the same Stage 5 from last season. There's not much. This was a very tough room. The fact that we get to use special here does open up some more interesting doors. I thought about putting Red Hulk over Agatha, or just putting Red Hulk over Quicksilver, but that Tangled Web Doom team that kind of gets slotted here with Emma, with Omega Red, with whoever, there's a little bit of RNG there on who does the Quicksilver put offense down on. So it still is kind of a crapshoot in that room, which is why I like it. I think if you try and get too cute there, you run the risk of getting run over by speed and by Weaver charges, which is why I don't have Weaver in 5. I think she's kind of the catch-all answer to Stage 6. Yeah, there's not much to say about Stage 6. There's a lot of interesting options. I think Unlimited would actually come in here and win too now, right? Because Rogue can use her special turn 1, as can the Gambit. I think so. Stage 6, I think, is the same as last season, except it's more susceptible to different counters. And Quicksilver kind of shores up some of those counters, which is why I have him there. And of course, we're never going to see Scarlet Witch on this team. You're never going to see Doctor Strange on his Secret Defender Crucible team when they eventually make it in. And I think this season is going to get drastically changed when some of the other characters come in. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to edit this video, guys, because I have a lot going on right now at the family. It's Sunday. You're going to get to see these teams live in action Monday. We'll be streaming Monday night. I think me and Taco, I'll try and link up with him. We'll do like a really exciting, first day of Crucible, community Crucible. We'll try and get everybody in there. ZKG, maybe we can convince Pathfinder and Purple to do their first Crucibles with us Monday night. We can do a whole extravaganza, and everyone can upload it, and you can go watch it on everybody. Support all the best Marvel Strike Force content creators, because we are all the best. But I'm objectively the best, because I was the highest ranked Crucible content creator last season. And that's why I'm the best, and nobody else, just me. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on stream soon. Bye. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.